Hello there once again, and welcome to today's episode of The Lindsay Elmore Show. First up, I will be talking with Sharon Haver, who has been an entrepreneur since 1999, which seems kind of like dinosaur years, with everybody all of a sudden springing up new businesses here, there, and everywhere. Sharon is the OG, and what she helps women to do is discover their authentic voice and allow it to permeate every single area of their brand. After that, I'll be talking to you about one of the biggest things that holds us back as people as well as entrepreneurs. And that is being a people pleaser and telling everyone yes when what we really want to say is no. Not only does this impact our health by making us at risk for overwhelm and stress, but it also impacts our business by giving us less time to work on the projects that matter. Let's get to the show. Welcome to The Lindsay Elmore Show, a podcast that helps you find fulfillment amidst chaos. On this show, I interview thought leaders, doctors, creatives, spiritual gurus, and game changers who inspire you to pursue your dreams, overcome obstacles, and leave your mark. Sharon Haver knows that positioning of your brand is the new currency. She is the founder of FocusOnStyle.com, online all the way back since 1999. And she has helped people to create brands, rebrands, and teaches women how to set themselves up in a position of authority. Sharon is a modern business marketing expert for female entrepreneurs and personal brands, helping them to gain visibility using their authentic style. She serves as a catalyst that helps entrepreneurs go to the next level and to really realize what it takes. It's more than expertise that will help you to stand out in a crowded marketplace. She allows you to see that when you fully embrace who you are, you can be confident that you are positioned to get high-level clients who truly appreciate you at the best that you can be. Today, I talk with her about how important it is to be exactly who you are. And we find out that it is the only way to create an authentic brand that lasts. Well, Sharon Haver, welcome to the Lindsay Elmore Show.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay.
So
Thrilled to be here.
I am so excited to talk to you today because I think that a lot of people, when they think about their brand or I'm an entrepreneur or do I really have the authority to put myself out there, I think a lot of women stop because they don't think that they're far enough along. And because they're not far enough along, they just don't even start. And so when you think about you run a 5-day program called the Authentic Superstar that helps people to understand business building, branding strategies, and how to position themselves within their niche. So what is the first step if someone has never thought of themselves as a personal brand or they've never gone into, goodness, I'm going to be an entrepreneur? Where does someone start?
Okay, well, Authentic Superstar is it's a free 5-day challenge that they can go get at AuthenticSuperstar.com. And what that is, what people before this business stuff, because you want to test the waters, right? You want to see if people are responding to you and test your message. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. People get stuck in thinking that they have to hire a photographer, they have to hire a branding person, they have to have all these fancy, zhuzhed up, sanitized, polished bells and whistles, and they get stuck because A, they're not a model, which is good because they're not a model, they're a real person. And B, it's just stuff that doesn't really attract your audience. What attracts your audience is you. Your most aligned audience will come to you, based on who you are. The more real you are, the more authentic you are, the more you're like humanizing yourself, like big corporations humanize themselves. They don't see like big corporations. Yet you get entrepreneurs and business coaches and small business owners and people either trying to dip their toes in the water, or people who've been here trying to be big and act all sorts of stuff, which is the opposite of what really big corporations do when they try to act like a real person and humanize themselves. So the first thing you really want to do is just set yourself up and know the way that the first thing that people see, particularly online, more than anything else, in literally 1/10 of 1 second, people see your photo and they judge you and they form an opinion about you, right? So if you create real and authentic photos that you can use your phone for, then that's the first start. And you can do that. Go to AuthenticSuperstar.com. That is my free 5-day challenge. It will set you up to do the very basics of getting yourself out there. When you get yourself out there, the next thing you want to be doing is testing your message, testing what people relate to, testing what people respond to. I just went over this with someone, one of my students, and it's like, well, I was told that I have to do this, and I was told this, and you didn't give me a that, and the thing is this: there's no answer to anything. There's no right answer. There's just so much marketing mumbo jumbo out there, but the answer of where to start comes from testing, because your audience will respond to certain messages. Your audience will respond to certain words, certain headlines, certain ways you present your content. So by working in conjunction with your audience, using you and your most real and authentic self, and then with your audience responding to you, you will create your most aligned audience. And that you could do using exactly what you have with the skills and the frameworks to get there. And, I've been online since 1999. My business has gone in all sorts of different ways because when FocusOnStyle.com started, it was an extension of my newspaper column, which was advice going to 400 papers each week, fashion and style advice. Now it's more FocusOnStyle.com is more about your style is your fingerprint and everything you do. And it's what I've done behind the scenes running my business. I also have a degree in marketing and PR and advertising, all that good stuff, thankfully. It's what people don't see. It's how you run your business. And that's also incredibly important to get yourself started. But if you're started, first test the waters on social, test the waters going out there and see, and not get stuck in the I'm not enough, I don't know, because, it's you're you. And that's what no one can take away from. And that's what your best audience, your most aligned audience, your most profitable audience will relate to. So take that away. It was hard for me because before all of this, I was a stylist on photo shoots for 15 years. And I did major stuff like Vogue magazine covers to making horrible polyester sweats look so good you'd want to buy them and wear them. And I work with big models and actors and actresses and supermodels. And I was really neurotic being on this side of the camera because I was used to the other side. So for me to come out there and remove all the veneers, but take the knowledge that I learned from behind the scenes on photo shoots, take the marketing knowledge I learned from school and running a business for so long, and take the way I've morphed my online business to deal with what's going on in the last 20 years and actually come out there as me doing this kind of stuff with you is so liberating, because you don't need all the other stuff. You've got you. You just need all the background so that you can be comfortable getting out there.
I love that, because around here we preach authenticity all day long, that if you can't be exactly who you are,
it's like, yeah, all
screwed.
day long and Sunday and back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many people are afraid of doing that. I don't know why.
I mean, I think it's like Marianne Williamson, where Marianne Williams said, we're not afraid that we're not enough. We're afraid that we're powerful beyond measure. And people do not want to claim that power. And so tell us, if people are afraid and if people are nervous to be authentic, how have you seen authenticity transform brands? And how have you seen brands that they ask for your input, but then they don't take your input to become authentic? How have you seen them fail?
Well, we'll do that first. So a couple of years ago, I was working with a bunch of mostly women who came filtered into a certain speaking thing I did that it sports. And I met people in that universe from this type of business coach, from these type of, this is a small world. Everybody's all interrelated. So when you go in one niche, they all peter down to you. And I was meeting these women. Now, I'm a New Yorker, so I'm like, tell it like it is, girl. You don't like it? I can't help you. You don't like it, you're not from me. Which is the most important thing you could do. Is like, don't try to be anything else, because you want to really repel people. Because if you repel one person, you will be magnetic to your people, right? Like, you can't please everybody. So that's one. And the other thing was, so I was getting these women and they were so afraid to be real. And they would come to me as clients and they would come into my programs. It was beyond frustrating because they just, I don't know how they were brainwashed into believing they had to look a certain way. They had to do a certain thing. And I'm like, no, you need to be you. You need to be the best at being you. That's what I tell people all the time. Be the best at being you. Don't try to copy somebody else. Work for them. It probably won't work for you. Choose your lane, be you. And it's liberating. So I grew up in the women's liberation movement. So it's like when people say, I have this feminine source. I want to discover my femininity, which is great for someone, but I don't relate to that. I don't even know what that means because that's not my reality, right? Clearly, I'm wearing a feminine top today. It's like ivory eyelet. It's kind of girly-esque, but that's not my being. I don't think of myself first as being feminine. I think of myself as being, I'm a woman and I can, hear me roar, bad Helen Reddy song was Helen Reddy, wasn't it? So, but it's a different beginning. And some women who come from, particularly I found, that feminine kind of background are very afraid to be real. And choose, put a line in the sand. It's not my people. I don't even know how to help them. I can only encourage them into wanting to be at one with who they are, being able to accept who they are, whatever that is. And if they're wanting to be something they're not, that's a deeper lesson than, a business or style or success or a branding coach can help you with, or strategist. That's something you got to deal with here on who you want to be. So that's the first thing, is like, come to terms with yourself. That's like the number one thing. Come to terms with yourself. You're not skinny. Well, my weight goes up and down like that. I know how to sit in a certain way. You wish you were younger. Well, I'm not a spring chicken. Use better moisturizer. What can I tell you? If you're not, and those are usually the two things, like, I'm too old, I'm too fat. I'm not skinny and I'm not young. So I'm here, right? So you can do the same thing. Be grateful for every day you're alive. If there's something in your appearance that's holding you back, do what you can to make it better. I don't know. Use some alpha hydroxy and a retinol at night. You'd be amazed at the difference it does to your skin. Get that on Amazon. You don't need to spend a lot. So it's just like, do what you can. You're not happy in your weight. Find clothes that you feel good in and try to lose some weight, or wear an outfit that makes you feel good in the shape you're in today. And I think that's really the important thing, is in the shape that you're in today. So that's the biggest long answer to the first part of your question, is you got to get comfortable in your own skin. Like,
right.
No one can help you beyond that. And as far as me, the most liberating thing I did was coming from this background of 15 years as a photo stylist, right? And I'm 5'7.5", and being next to 5'10" really skinny models. I remember once I was doing a photo shoot with a model who later became a Bond girl. Won't mention her name, but think about which models became Bond girls, right?
Okay, got it.
And the photographer said, well, do you have something that you could bring, that maybe your own clothes, that after the shoot we could just try to fool around with her? She said she wants to do some other photos. So I said, okay. So here I was, Miss Susie Neurotic, or Sharon Neurotic. So at that time, people wore cat suits, and I bought this cat suit. Now I'm always curvy. I was really thin, but I was very curvy. And I was really self-conscious next to these, voluptuously skinny at the same time models. So I brought this cat suit, and it fit me, and I was convinced that it would, I don't know what I was convinced of, but the girl put it on, and I'm thinking like she's tall and she's skinny and she's perfect, and it was too small for her. And I'm like, what? I'm sitting here thinking that I'm all this stuff, like I'm fat and I'm miserable because I'm next to all these models, and she's wearing my own clothes and they don't fit her. Yay, Sharon. It's a mindset thing, right? So just accept who you are. And it was really hard for me to go from working with them to being here. So it comes from getting to the point of saying, I know what I'm talking about. That is liberating thing number one. I'm smart. I know my topic. I believe in it when I sleep. I know when I'm talking about it. I don't need 5 million sets of notes because I live it. I'm me. And this is my expertise. And once you are in your expertise, once you are in something that you know, and that even if you failed at, you learn something from it. Even if you're right now, so many people are rebranding careers and changing from maybe what they did a real job to creating an online business. If you're talking about something that you have confidence, you have certainty. And once you have confidence and certainty, get out of your own way. And if you don't have confidence about what you're talking about, and if you don't have certainty about what you're talking about, you're always going to feel like someone's judging you. Because if you know what you're talking about, you don't care if someone's judging you, because you know what you know. Confidence and certainty. And and authenticity. Once I was able to master that, I could, get on camera, I could do videos, and I made it, video was really scary for me. I had my own Macy's commercial. I was the style guru, and it said my contract said Jumbotron. I'm like, oh my God. And I walked into the studio not knowing it was a green screen studio, the size of basically a football field. It was just me, the talent. Oh my God. I was like, freaked out, but I did it. And I had my national commercial. Yet when I went to do these kind of videos, I was like, oh my God, so stiff. Do I have to know lines? Do I have to know this? And once I knew the frameworks and the setups, easy as pie. And I made that. If anyone wants to do that, that's over at videoquickstarter.com. Make it really easy to get in front of the camera, but confidence, certainty, authenticity. And then you learn the pieces to make it better.
Yeah, you learn the pieces to make it better. And I'm wondering, I bet we have a lot of listeners who they have the confidence, they have the certainty, they have the authenticity. They may have amassed an audience of a couple thousand people on social media, but yet they still struggle to make that jump to, what do I sell to them? How do I become an entrepreneur? They get boxed in about, okay, well, I have this audience, but what do I do with it? So how can someone take their authentic message and allow it to transform into a sellable, sustainable product?
Ask. It sounds so difficult and stupid, right? At the same time, ask. So what I do a lot of the times, you can ask your list. You have a list, right? Send out, there's this thing, which marketing, I think it was Dean Jackson created it. I'm not sure. It's called the 9-word email. Are you still interested in whatever? Are you still interested in branding? Are you still interested in social media? Are you still interested in trademark law? Are you still interested in like laundry detergent, whatever it is, right? Person will go back and they'll go, yeah, I really like to say, what do you need to know more about? What have you done? Start a conversation. Great way to do it on your email list. When somebody follows you on social media, I got really lazy about it, and now I'm doing it again, and it's just so powerful. Somebody follows you, or somebody leaves a comment, or somebody likes your post, go back into the message and say, hey, thanks for your comment, thanks for following me, thanks for liking me. What do you want to see more of in my feed? What are you struggling with? Look at their profile and ask questions. You could, create canned responses in Instagram, and then you can just go add something that's more personal to it. Ask people. You would be amazed at what people say they want and need. From that, so now you have an idea, right? You've got people coming back to you saying, I'm really struggling with what is the difference between a brand and a personal brand and a personality brand, which I'm all about forming personality brands, because anyone can cookie cutter you a personal brand. That is so overdone these days. I mean, it's a good SEO word, personal brand, but what you really want is a personality brand based on who you are. Remember, real person, authentic. So once you have that set up, then say, okay, how do you you kind of get a size of your audience. Like, are you speaking to people who could afford to buy something, right? So, I work with Frank Kern a lot as in one of his private groups for a while. And he said something that I took away, which is so powerful. And that is, if you want to sell to catch a whale, don't put out minnow bait, right? So you want to have a whale. What is a whale? A whale is a high-ticket client, a decent paying client, somebody who can maybe put out $500-$600 in a program, $1,000, $3,000, whatever. I would say $300 to $500 upwards, right? So then don't start talking about things that are constantly free, that are constantly cheap, because you're going to attract somebody who doesn't want to invest in themselves. So I said my free program was over at AuthenticSuperstar.com, and that is true. And it's free. Sometimes I charge a little bit of money. I do different tests with it. I do normally get a different audience. On free, you will always get more people. On a small price, you'll get people who will convert more later, because you won't get the tire kickers. And as they say in Brooklyn, the schnorrers. You'll actually get somebody who's willing to invest in themselves. I prefer to help more people, thinking if someone's at a point right now where they don't have any money, they can grow with me to when they have more money to invest as well. So from that, you decide, okay, I have things for free for $7, for $37 to $19.97 to working with me, which is extremely expensive. So I have different levels of programs. I don't offer them all at the same time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on my mood. Plus, it's always free if you follow me on, social media. I'm almost always focused on style as my handle. So with that, you see, okay, do I want to create an online program? Because that's like all the rage right now is an online program. Well,
sure.
Frankly, I don't know if I would ever create a produced online program ever again. I know everyone tells you to do it, but I don't know if I really would ever do it again. And I have, like 3 of them or so, because it's a lot of work. Everything's a lot of work, but I don't know if they relate. I believe in doing things now that are either something you can get right away, like a masterclass or a book, or something that you can do live and test. Do a few of them in the beginning, just like this on a Zoom, and go forward and test it. No one cares how produced it was. No one cares the big set. They care about the value that you bring. Not only will that take so much editing away, and that can become a nightmare, but the faster you get things to market, the faster you make money, and the faster you see if it's a bomb or a bomb. That's the bomb, it's like, so yeah, if you're going to do an online program, I would try doing it live first. See how that works.
Okay. All right. I love that. And I love the idea of what you said about no one cares how produced it is. I know I started, at my kitchen table with a computer and an iPhone.
Yeah, me too.
And so if someone is saying, well, this is all I have, and they use that as an excuse.
It's an excuse.
Yeah. So how did you use your iPhone to get you going, get you moving, get you started? And how can people use that as like their home studio?
Well, first of all, your phone is your new broadcast center, right? So everything you need, it's your videographer, it's your photographer, it's your network to the world, it's everything you need, right? So this is how people relate to each other. People are used to this. And by the way, I always say, don't listen to rules, but what converts the most for me, test, is portrait mode, because it's like FaceTime, right? And being real. So once you have what you have here today, we moved around. Sometimes I have a fancy mic. Today I'm just using, my, what do they call it? My AirPods or whatever. I have actually a backup. These are the newer ones. They're more expensive. They're just really comfortable. Oh, I have the older ones, but I don't even have them in here. That's a good question. Where are they? My backup is not working, but they were here. So I have both sets. I also sometimes would use the cord one that came with it. You only need one, most of the, pretty much. So if you're using the cord earbud or whatever earbud, just put it in one ear and hide the wires so it's not coming like two ears like you're ready to take off. Look at what's happened with the pandemic. Every program had to broadcast from their phone, right? So what you have, every talk show, every news program, everything is from their phone. That just gave you a whole pass, if you're afraid, do it on your phone. Most people, if you look at TV, when they're broadcasting, they have a bunch of books behind them. They're in front of their library because they think they make people think they're smart. Just don't be in a beige cubicle where you're like looking like you're in the witness protection program in somebody's basement or cave. Put some stuff around you. Today, I'm in a corner in my living room. We collect glass, so it's pretty behind me. Again, I'm wearing white. My background's interesting. It's not competing. You kind of get an idea from what's behind me, even though my air conditioner's over there, that I have kind of, like it. And it's kind of a cool apartment, right? I like more artsy stuff. You get a sense of who I am. Totally. We have a place in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It's got wood paneling, but it's very, inspired by Roy Rogers and Dale Evans there. Different style. You kind of get a different sense of me. You don't like your background where you are, and you should always change it up. Go outside. I tell people all the time in video, most of them, if you follow me on like Instagram or Facebook, more times than not, I'm outside. With the pandemic, it's hard with the face mask, but we're inside, but when I can, I'm outside. Different background, different scenery. If you're somewhere and you feel that there's a beautiful background, or you're in front of a landmark, or you're sitting waiting for your friend to meet you for coffee and it just kind of looks like a cool cafe, even outside, use your phone. That's all you need, right? You have your phone. You don't like the way you look? Okay, sunglasses. You're outside, you could wear sunglasses.
You just throw that filter on and go.
Go, right? Get up and go. If you don't like what you're wearing, well, I don't know. As a stylist, you could look thinner when you're like sitting on your top. You're pulling it down. Change your angles. You'll learn about this and any of my programs from authenticsuperstar.com, videoquickstarter.com, simplyamazingheadshots.com, photobrandmasterclass.com. You go wherever you want. You learn your angles, right? You learn how to set yourself up. So if this was, I don't want to, I'm barefoot, people say they wear pajamas. I'm barefoot at home. So when I don't want to hit my computer wire with my big toe. But when you're doing photos, all you do is, why is somebody calling me now? We're just going to ignore them. So hold it like this. You say, oh, it's not an angle. I don't have a tripod. Well, here, let me show you. I have two things. You don't have a tripod, you got a knee, right? There, that's a really good angle. For selfies, for videos, use your knee. Raise your phone up. So simple. Knee, right?
Yeah.
You want a little tripod? I always carry this one in my bag. It's on from Amazon. Tiny, right? It's really tiny. Open it up, pull it out. It just happens to be here. I wasn't even intending to use it. Stick your phone in. You got a really nice high tripod. Oh, see? Pretty high.
Yeah.
It's all
Absolutely.
you need. And then audio, you got that. There's also little lights you can put on your camera. So the most flattering outdoor light is kind of that 5-ish, 6 o'clock depending on like summer, 5-ish, 6 o'clock, when the sun sets, or if it's an overcast day, or you're sitting outside, if you have like a patio umbrella over you, as long as it's not really casting a shadow on your face, that is a more flattering light, that sort of maybe it won't kind of light, end of the day. The other great time is golden hour, and golden hour was when I was a stylist. Oh my God, it was the killer. You had to get up. It's like that, the gold light that comes at sunrise and then right before sunset. You've got a few minutes to race to get that one. I used to go, I was in this mastermind group in La Jolla, California. And I used to go out there and always, this is another thing, like when we can all travel for business. If you're traveling, spend the day before finding beautiful locations to do video. That's what I used to do, or create photos. So I would go there and I'm not one for the morning golden hour, not unless you're paying me to get up at 5 in the morning, but that evening golden hour, I'm your girl. I'd get up to the roof of the hotel when the light was beautiful, and I would have the Pacific Ocean behind me and palm trees, and I would do a ton of videos as fast as I can, using nothing more than this and that. It's really easy, take advantage of where you are, and, do the walk and talk too. If you're nervous about being on video, the walk and talk is so much better. First of all, it's more interesting than just, being a talking head like that. You're sharing your experience with people. So people always, they're snoopy. Where are you? You could take it away. You could share them. There's things happening around you. So that makes it more interesting and engaging. And it makes it easier for you to relate, because if you're just not as stiff talking and you're walking down the street, right? You're a little more alive. You're in motion. And whether you're doing your photos or your videos, you should always want the first frame to sort of be a pattern interrupt. So people are like, don't do that. Like, sit a certain way, move a certain way. Like, some of my best videos is, I don't know, can you see there is like a banana behind me? We have this glass banana. Like, when I go, are you going, is video making you bananas? And it's like, I did it in the middle of the pandemic with like no makeup, and like hadn't been out of the house in 3 weeks. And I just grabbed the banana because I was sitting there. That video converts more than anything else for Video Quick Starter, because it's pattern interrupt.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you can get somebody to stop while they're scrolling their feed, that's half the battle. That's absolutely half of the battle. So
absolutely. And people don't realize that. And then they go in these like beige rooms and they're like, hi, I look really boring in my beige top. And today, oh, hi there. Hi. Wait 5 minutes. Hi. It's just started. Tell people what you're going to say. Then if you want to chat with anyone else, that's fine. You're always going to get more views anyway in your replay.
Yeah. Oh,
don't insult the people's time who come later.
Yeah. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, you're going to get way more views way more views out of your replays than you are anything live. So, well, Sharon, before you go, are you up to answer some lightning round questions?
Yes. Just one
Okay.
sip of water and I'm ready.
All right, let's do
I'm
it.
ready.
You ready?
Fire,
Okay.
fire. Yeah.
What is your number one strength?
Strength.
Uh-huh.
I believe in myself.
Oh, good for you.
And it's a two-part. I believe in myself, and I just know that there's one person, one thing I can count on, me.
Yeah.
If I can't count on me, I can't count on anyone else.
Oh, love it. What is the thing that you struggle with the most?
My weight, fluctuating 10 pounds.
Well, we talked about that. We gotta get back up on that elimination diet and all the things, and then share your journey with your audience.
It's just it just goes on for. It's been like this since I'm 6. So I'm used to it. I struggle with it, but I know the struggle.
It's who you are.
It's like fine. I have like different. Yeah, my husband's like, "Why do you have so many clothes?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Which size am I?" Okay, we'll leave them.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of the fat clothes because we never want to be back in them again. And the really tiny ones, I don't know if I'll ever get there. We'll keep the version of the middle.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Keep the best. Keep the best. If you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, go to more clubs, hang out more parties, do more stuff downtown. I was like a downtown girl, and somebody was saying, "Oh, well, I'm like, I'm really happy what I did. I am so happy that I grew up being one of the cool kids, because when I was little, before that, I was the most uncool kid. I was so shy. I was afraid of my shadow. And then when I went out and, I had a boyfriend then who owned a bunch of clubs and stuff, and it was like, it gave me so much confidence.
Oh, so fun. Who has been your greatest inspiration?
I don't really have one person. I had, as far as style, I had Audrey Hepburn. And then I met her, which was probably one of the most awe-inspiring nights of my life. And I have a photo with her and spent the evening with her, which is amazing.
Yeah.
These days, I love Michelle Obama. I think she's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't really, crazy I Love Lucy. I don't really have specific people. There's people I gravitate to and there's people I don't, just like you'll get your audience that way too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You find people that there's something in them that resonates with you, and then you just keep coming back to them over and over. And I think that is what being, an influencer is. You know what I mean? It's just constantly finding things deeper and deeper within you. So what keeps you up at night?
It's true. Insomnia. I don't even know. I am always up at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I just wake up, hello, and what do? I usually look on Amazon and I find, remember I was talking about you don't like skin cream, you get it on Amazon. Well, remember when I used to cover fashion and beauty and I had my newspaper column, I used to get every sample sent over to me. And now I have it for myself. I love finding things. So I'm basically like looking on Amazon for like, is that a bit of retinol? I like that vitamin C. What's that? Do we need moth traps? So it's
right.
Like, do that, get my shopping out of the way in the middle of the night and go back to sleep.
Oh, well, last question. Here we go. God to you is?
I think it could be a poodle. I don't know. I believe there's somebody above us. I don't have no idea. I think there's definitely powers that be that guide us. It could be our friends and family that we've lost. It could be a higher being. I think God is whomever you believe in that gives you the strength to go forward. I think it's personal for everyone, and there's no right or wrong answer.
I love that. And before you go, I actually do have one more question, because you are one of the types of women who you never know where the conversation is going to go. You have so many different interests, so much in your background, and you say that this makes some people that they perceive you as ditzy. But how have you used it to your advantage to actually elevate your worth and say, yes, I have expertise in all these different areas. Let me show you.
I think I'm anything but ditzy. My sense of humor might be ditzy. I might purposely, remember I said I loved I Love Lucy. There's to be funny, to be the butt of the joke, you got to be really smart. Marilyn Monroe was no dummy. People say, oh, she was so sick. So people misjudge people that to play the role of being funny. That if you look at some of the top comedians, Joan Rivers, Lucille Ball, even Fran Drescher, or someone like a sex symbol like a Marilyn Monroe, they're not stupid women. They might come off playing funny or ditzy, but takes a lot of smarts to be able to pull that off. So don't let people ever think that you're like, ah. And if you are, I know my cousin has a friend. I, for this day, never know what the woman's name is. I just call her Jangling Change. She's just like Jangling Change. She's like here and she's there and she's there and she's here. Yet she has a really successful business. It somehow works for her. Barely can have a conversation with her, but she's a really smart businesswoman. So just be confident in who you are. When my younger self, I thought I had to be in these lanes, and I've accomplished a lot from being, a very well-known stylist for so long, having a syndicated newspaper column, being able to create my own website when my son was a newborn, because another company I sold my column to screwed me, and I needed to start from scratch. I never walked into it. It created itself. I took the opportunity and I ran with it. So that's why I have something coming up. It's at startedupright.com, Go over there. And it's just like, if I knew now what I didn't know then, to make it easier in today's market. But never think of yourself as ditzy. Think of yourself as flexible, because things change. We're not all one person. The industry changes, the market changes, the trends change. You change, and as you grow, as you mature, as you become more seasoned, more sophisticated, what really would float your boat in 2000 may not float your boat now. So that's part of life, to just, and everything you did, it all comes together to you. Remember, if you're being authentic and a whole person, everything you did, no mistakes, no regrets, you learn from it, and you changed interests. It doesn't make you dumb or ditzy. It just makes you more evolved.
I love
and
that.
Flexible.
Yes, and it gives you new and differential skill sets that can carry you to the next level. And I absolutely love that. Well, listeners, everyone, please go check out www.focusonstyle.com. You can also check out authenticsuperstar.com and startitright.com. And you can check
Start
out
it upright.
Start it upright. Oh my goodness. Let's get that correct. Okay. So if you are interested in figuring out how do you start your business on the right foot, how do you get it going, and how do you transform your most authentic self into a brand that you love, go and check out all of Sharon's wide variety of offerings that can help you go to the next level. Sharon Haver, thank you so much for being on the Lindsay Elmore Show.
Lindsay. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And just be confident in who you are. Be the best at being you. It's the only, it's that one lasting piece of advice I want to give everyone. Just, you're enough. Be the best at being you, and just do it. You're never going to get anything done if you're just dreaming about it. Put a little elbow grease and get it done.
Do you feel overwhelmed by the constant pressure to look right, act right, and be perfect? Yep, as we have heard from today's guests, lots of women feel the exact same way. But let me tell you something, friends. What is more important than listening to everyone else's opinions about who you are and who you're supposed to be? It is much more important that you exert your own personal power and make decisions for yourself. I have a free download for you. It's a 7-step guide that will teach you how to cut through confusion and decide what is right for you in your life. You will learn how to practice self-care, serve a greater purpose, tap into your intuition, and listen to your body. To download the free ebook, all you have to do is head to www.lindsayelmore.com/ebook. Like I said, it's totally free. Head to www.lindsayelmore.com/ebook and download a 7-step guide to making decisions that honor your inner voice, optimize your health, and serve your highest purpose. No. It's such a simple word. In fact, it's one of the 10 most common first words spoken by babies, while yes is not even in the top 20. And yet, many adults have an irrational fear or an absolute inability to tell people no. Why do we struggle with saying no in the first place? The fact of the matter is, we become really overwhelmed, and we're constantly so busy that we don't even have time to do the things that we love. We feel guilty during moments when we're resting. We feel like every moment should be this productive use of time. We avoid spending time with our friends and our family. And we do it because we are compelled to please other people. Too much to do, too many commitments, too little time is a recipe for utter disaster and complete overwhelm. A person who is so stressed by an overwhelmed schedule struggles with an underwhelmed soulful fulfillment. And the biggest reason for overwhelm and the resultant lack of fulfillment inside of us is simply an ability to not say no. We are unable to say no. Let's next talk about our inner dialogue, the way that we talk to ourselves. The fact of the matter is, life is not meant to be a rat race. If you are so busy trying to meet the needs of other people, the fact of it is you will miss out on the things that are so important and that you should be saying yes to, because your schedule is completely full of things that you should have said no to. We all have limited time each day, and the more that you fill your day with fruitless activities that do not contribute to your primary goals and desires, the less fulfilled that you will become. While you should be saying yes to things that align with your goals and values, you end up in the trap of saying yes to things that don't matter. Here are some of the reasons that you think that you have to say yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so flattered that someone believes in my help, my expertise, enough to ask for my help. Another reason we say yes, we think that no one else can do the job as well as us. We want people to like us, and we're afraid of hurting people's feelings, letting people down. We have FOMO. We have the fear of missing out. But really, none of these are the real reason that you can't say no. When we look further at the root cause, we find that we as humans have an innate need to please. Many people are really, really over the top people pleasers. They focus on being liked. They're typically nice, agreeable people who strive to shy away from conflict, and they really, really want to please others. Why do people pleasers aim to please others? They seek acceptance. They want people to know that they are a part of the crowd. They genuinely fear that people will reject, dislike, or think badly of them for not being more agreeable. Additionally, people pleasers seek approval. They want the approval of others because their fear of disappointing someone can somehow diminish their self-value. They have insecurities. This is what it all boils down to. The inability to say no is a lack of self-belief. When you don't know who you are, or if you feel like in some way that you have to have someone else's approval or acceptance by other people, then you're a people pleaser. So how do you overcome that and learn how to say no? Number one, stop being so nice. I know that sounds crazy, but as children, we are taught to be nice. In the dictionary, nice are people who are pleasing and agreeable. You know, when we think of kind people are polite, considerate, and caring. So instead of being pleasing and agreeable to every whim of everyone else, how about we aim to be kind instead? Kindness allows us to be considerate of other people's feelings and desires without sacrificing our own process. We can love people and treat them with kindness without always having to go along with every idea or accept every assignment. Loving someone does not mean that you have to please them all the time. Sometimes we have to get tough love from the people who care about us most. The problem is a lot of people think that being nice means that they're a good person. This is not true. On the contrary, allowing others to take advantage of you to the point where you are stressed, overburdened, and resentful does not make you a good person. What does make you a good person is when you carefully evaluate all of the opportunities that you have and make a commitment to work with someone only when it aligns with your values and that you know that you can give the project 100%. That's what makes you a good person. Now, take a step back and realize that while it is flattering for someone to recognize that your skills and talent and hard work are noticed by others, it's gratifying to the ego. And it makes us want to say yes over and over and over again. But here's the thing. Just because you have the skill set and can do a good job does not mean that you should. We need to take a step back and understand that if it doesn't align with our core values, it's not a project that we should take on. We also have to keep our ego in check. When we think no one else can do this job like I can do this job, that is also not true. You need to understand that there is always someone who can do the job. When you acknowledge this allows you to take the pressure off of yourself. You also realize that even if it's a job that you can do, that you have the expertise to do, that you would be good at, it doesn't align with your values and you've said no. The fact of the matter is that if no one else steps up to do that job, it still isn't your problem. You can set it aside and let it be. If you're someone who wants people to like you, ask yourself, would that person come through for me in my time of need? If not, why are you coming through for them in their time of need? One of the biggest reasons that I hear people say I struggle to say no is because they're afraid of hurting someone's feelings. Now, you may hurt someone's feelings when you say no, especially if that person is very accustomed to you saying yes. But it's more important for you to stay true for yourself, because which is better, letting someone else down or letting yourself down. You also can't you can't have this mirage in front of your face that if I don't say yes, I'm going to miss out on something. This one gets even the most discerning people. If you know you don't have the time, but it's a worthy cause, it's something that your friend really believes in, and you simply give in and say, I'll do it because what if I miss out? You squeeze it in, you work it in. But again, just because you want to be a part of something doesn't necessarily mean that you should or that you have the time to do it. We have to stop putting ourselves last. In the words of Jim Rohn, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Working on other people's priorities leaves you depleted and resentful. Instead, cast a clear vision for your desires, your goals, and create priorities that ensure that you spend time walking down a path that allows you to get to where you want to be. Once you know what you want, you can create goals around your family, your career, your volunteerism. Keep your goals realistic and understand that you only have so many hours in a day. So if you're ready to adapt the art of saying no, here are a few tips for how you can say no more gracefully. Number one, don't answer immediately. When you're presented with an idea or asked for help, don't answer immediately. Even if the person who is asking you puts pressure on you. The fact of it is, they don't need an immediate answer. They say they do, but they don't. You can reply with something like, I understand that you need to know right now. I don't take my commitments lightly, so give me some time to consider. And if that's not okay and you have to have an answer right now, I'm so sorry, but I will have to decline. Another way to say it is, I really appreciate you asking me. Can I have a day or 2 or 3 or even a week, whatever you need, to think it over and make sure that I can give this project my all? Can I get back to you after that time frame? I mean, come on, that's not so hard, really, is it? The next thing you can do is just be assertive. One of the things that I have learned as a business owner is that it is so much easier to just say the hard things. If you're beating around the bush and your employees don't know, or if your people that you're working with collaboratively don't know what you want out of them, it puts you in a situation where everybody's like, I don't know, did I do it? Did I meh? Give specific feedback. Once you've thought it over and you know your answer is no, be prepared to stick to your guns. There are a lot of people that are masters of manipulation, especially those who you are used to saying yes to all the time. Go into the conversation, stand your ground, be bold. When you've said no, they may try to manipulate you into changing your mind. They'll use tactics to make you feel like they can't do it without you. Simply tell them, it sounds like you really need help. I hope you find someone who can commit. Right now, it simply wouldn't be fair for either of us for me to take this on. Stay assertive and know that you are making the best decision for you. Next, don't apologize. If you're not sorry, don't say you're sorry. And if there's nothing to apologize about, don't say you're sorry either. When you apologize, it conveys to the listener that you feel guilty and opens the door for manipulation. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, I can't commit right now, say, unfortunately, I can't commit right now. It's a completely different set of language that just says, I don't have the time to do this, instead of, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have the time to do this. Keep it short. Don't feel compelled to give people reasons. Just say no. The more simple your answer, the less room there is for argument, the less room for manipulation, and the less room there is for other chess moves that cause you to buckle under stress. Simply say, unfortunately, I can't commit to that right now, or I'm not able to help at this time. You can show appreciation and validation by saying, I really appreciate you thinking of me for this task. Unfortunately, this isn't something I can commit to right now. Which, with each of these statements, you don't actually even have to say the word no. You just respectfully decline to help. All you have to do is make a decision. Do you really want to continue being manipulated and controlled into allowing other people to take ownership of the plans in your life? Or do you want to truly live according to your own passions and desires? You have to make a choice. And the choice to say yes to yourself is often the choice to say no to someone else. The Lindsay Elmore Show is written and produced by me, Lindsay Elmore. Show segments are produced by Sue Procco and Kelsey Lorman. Production design, sound design, and editing is by Jive Media. If you have a question about this or any other episode of the podcast, send us an email to hello@lindsayelmoreshow.com. And hey, since you're still here, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. And while you're at it, go over and follow us on Instagram @Lindsay Elmore Show. This helps us bring the pod to more people.